Welcome to My Career Podcast, and I'm joined by Catherine Graham, who works at a small space project company called KISP in Farnborough, Hampshire. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start by asking you, how have you ended up working in the space industry?
All right. Okay. Well, I've always been interested in space. Always been interested in it. I like my sci-fi growing up. I've read sci-fi. I've watched Star Trek, and I just liked the stars. I was interested in stars. I had an encyclopedia which had a diagram about the life cycle of stars, and it just fascinated me.
Okay.
So I was doing my A-levels, physics, chemistry and maths. I enjoyed my sciences.
Yeah.
And I was researching degrees because I'd always wanted to go and do a degree.
Yeah.
And I was looking through brochures and I found a degree called Physics with Astrophysics. I wasn't very aware of astrophysics, but basically astrophysics is the science of space and stars and galaxies.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, I want to study that. And because it had physics with it, I felt that would be all right for a career move. So I went and did my degree in physics of astrophysics. I loved it. Really enjoyed myself. And at the end of that, I thought, I don't want to leave university just yet.
Oh, right, okay.
So I stayed on and did a PhD in X-ray astronomy.
Wow.
So I did that for 3 years at a different university, had a great experience. I was very lucky. I got to work with some satellite data, but also I got to go to the United Kingdom Infrared Telescope at Mauna Kea in Hawaii.
Right.
So I got to use the telescopes there. So that was great. But at the end of the 3 years, didn't want to stay in academia. I wanted to do something a bit more. It was very pure science. I wanted to do something a bit more relevant to everyday life.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then I looked into careers, and I was very lucky in searching for jobs. I found an opportunity at what is now Kinetic in Farnborough in their space department. So I started there 27 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
So I did space surveillance and space studies at Kinetic for 10 years, and then I moved to Surrey Satellite Technology for 10 years.
Wow.
For 13 years, and worked on concept design, and then I moved into a line management role for system engineers, and I was managing system engineers for a lot of time. So I got to the point where I managed 60 engineers.
Wow.
And it was an exciting company to work for because we built many missions. They've built over 60 missions and been involved in the small satellite industry in this region, and was one of the pioneers of the small satellite industry, let alone not just the UK, but in the world. Oh, so, so a great opportunity to work there.
It's such a vibrant industry, and particularly in this region.
Yes.
This is one of our key sectors within Surrey and Hampshire. And I believe there's quite a lot of people involved, employed in the space industry. So the space industry is growing throughout the UK, and it's been actively pushed by the UK government and also by the industries within the UK. So it's an expanding industry in the UK, but in particular in this region, in Surrey and Hampshire, it's a big portion of the UK space industry, partly spawned by the likes of Surrey Satellite Technology and Airbus and some of these other primes, and small and other companies have moved to the region, or offshoots of those companies. So it's grown into a big thing for the area. And so I'll go quote some statistics now. So there are over 130 companies in Surrey and Hampshire and the Isle of Wight. Gosh.
So generating £3.03 billion of income, £1.6 billion of exports, and employing 5,684 people. So, and those are statistics provided by the Space South Central network of space companies.
And that's just in Surrey and Hampshire?
It's just Surrey and Hampshire, yes.
So from a young person's perspective, that's really exciting, isn't it? Because you can see that there's this huge growing industry which is going to offer such amazing career opportunities.
Yes, there's a wide variety of companies, and they're all quite close to each other, and it stems and builds from each other, so there's lots of opportunities across the whole of the space industry. types of work that you can do in the space industry in this region. We cater for pretty much all of it here around in this area.
Right.
And it's only growing. The only thing that's stopping the space industry growth in the UK is we don't have enough people with the right skills.
Okay.
So all the space employers across the country, and particularly in this region, we're all struggling to find the right skills and the people we need to do the work we need to do. So we need to get people excited, enthused, doing the subjects, getting involved in the space industry, coming into the space industry so we can grow and keep the skills coming and keep the industry growing. So there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah. Can you sort of like share some details about the types of roles then? So if there's 5,000, people working, what are they doing? What do they do on their day-to-day work when they go off to work?
Well, there's a wide range of roles. So the space industry can be divided up into, I guess you could say, two big areas. There's what we call upstream, which is where we're designing, building, operating satellites. But then there's the downstream sector, which is then utilising all the data that these satellites are producing. So they produce vast quantities of data. So there's lots of industry around what you do with that data.
Okay.
So there's roles in both of those areas in this region and across the country. So in terms of building satellites, there are lots of STEM careers, so science and engineering and maths, technology careers.
Okay.
So from people who design satellites to then build them, there's lots of engineering roles in mechanical engineering, electrical, software, systems engineering, a vast quantity of different types of roles in that area. There's technician roles. There's the people that build all the components that go into the satellites, build the images, build the communication systems. Then these people that have to integrate it all together, make sure it all works and test. So there are all those kinds of activities, and that's just on building the satellite side.
Wow.
And then you've got the downstream side where they analyse data, meter weather, climate change, urban planning. There's lots and lots of different ways of using data, geographical information systems, and using data for lots of applications. And that's just the scientific STEM type careers. But there's lots of other careers that are needed to support that whole industry. We need project managers, we need accountants, we need lawyers, we need artists and graphic artists, we need business development, we need web developers, we need all the kind of support services that you would need, HR, office management, procurement. There's lots and lots of careers, not just in the technical side, but in the support side as well.
And I'm sensing also that it's probably like a sort of like a problem solving element to this as well.
Yes, I should have said that. Absolutely. Problem solving is one of the key skills. You're testing something, it doesn't quite work, that desire and drive to actually want to go, well, why didn't that work? And bottom out and find what went wrong. Or if you're doing software, and software is vital in the space industry, again, that desire to find where that bug is and come out and get to it. A bit of attention to detail is also needed to make sure you get things right.
Quite important. What are the routes into the industry? Because you mentioned obviously you went to university, but you don't necessarily have to go to university, do you?
No. So there's a lot of roles. So it depends. If you want to get involved in the satellite building side, obviously doing your A-levels in STEM subjects and going on to university is absolutely a route. And there are lots of university degrees that cater well, that can be used. Some space-specific ones, some non-space specific. Sort of general engineering. And you can even do MSCs that even give you more space-specific experience. So that's absolutely a route, and is a very common route. But also there are other routes into the industry. There is now a level 4 space technician apprenticeship that's been developed. So that is now in existence. And from September 2024, there's a level 6 space systems degree apprenticeship as well. So the industry has recognised there is a lack of space skills, and so has worked with partners around the industry to develop these apprenticeship schemes. So so they're growing.
Exciting, isn't it?
It's early days, but it's definitely growing. And so there are routes in. And I know many cases of people who have gone through an apprenticeship route and have gone into the industry. And it's a fantastic route to go. Gets you lots of practical hands-on experience.
Which is the great thing about apprenticeships, isn't it? All that skills and knowledge that you're, you know, the hands-on quality, as you know, and you add that to your qualification as well. That's a really valuable mix, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. So yes, so there's lots of routes. You don't have to do A levels. You could do BTEC. You could do T levels. So there are lots of routes through that you could definitely take.
And if we bring that back to like a careers perspective for a young person that might be sitting there thinking, oh, okay, like, you know, I like maths, I enjoy physics, you know, this could be kind of a pathway or a route that I might like to explore. And as well as those kind of like subjects, are there other kind of like skills that you've identified in your years of working with the engineers or within the industry that you think like typifies someone who works in the industry?
So what typifies? That's a good question. So what do we need? A passion for what you're doing. You know, a passion. It doesn't necessarily have to be a passion for space necessarily. It could just be maybe an engineering discipline or something like that. But a bit of passion and drive. The ability to work in teams. We don't build satellites in isolation. We work as teams, and they can be quite big teams. So ability to work together as part of a team is really important. So that also is communication skills as well. An element of innovation and that creative thinking to come up with new ideas of how we can, what we can do next in space and what's new. And there's a new technology being developed. How could we use that in space to provide a new product or new data? So those sort of skills as well. So obviously we need the technical skills, but those skills are really vital and important. And in my time running a system engineering team, I found the key thing I looked for in people was that ability to communicate and be able to listen to others and pick up when other people may have an idea but were sitting quietly in a corner, and to make sure all the ideas and all the views and concerns even were raised so that you can design a good product and pick everything up. So communication is vital. So
I think it's amazing. I've really enjoyed finding out today about, you know, about the industry, about the breadth of the industry, and that it's really like you say, like accessible to quite a broad range of young people. And actually, you know, we need to get the young people excited about thinking about careers in space, and not just thinking it's just like something that can't be achieved. Actually, it's really evident, you know, from the college courses, the university courses, the apprenticeships that are available now. These are really viable career paths. And I'm delighted that we've been able to have this chat today, because I feel like, you know, when people will listen to this, then I definitely think it should sort of like spark some interest and excitement. But like really grateful for you coming in today, sharing your story, and really importantly, sharing sort of what the space industry is all about. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.